Finding out Richard's journey to the island? Check. Finding out what the island is? Check. Finding out what Jacob's plan is? Check. Finding out what Men in Black's plan is? Check. And finding out how the statue got broken? Check. Wow, those are a lot of findings and checks I just said. Hey everybody, this is Lou on Lost, episode 9, Aeterno. I think I'm saying it right. This was a tremendous episode for a lot of reasons, and we have so much to talk about, it's not even funny. We better get this episode started. So we start off this episode with Ileana in bed, lying with all her bandages like we've seen her in the last couple of seasons, and Jacob goes up to her, apologizes for being late, and needs her to do him a favor. He winds up saying that she needs to protect these 6 last candidates, and that it's her job to make sure that nothing happens to them. Jacob explains to her that Ricardus will let her know what to do after she brings the candidates to the temple and where they are right now on the island when they're all sitting around the campfire. When Richard hears this, he does this little mysterious, devilish laugh that's kind of funny to listen to. And then goes on to say that he has no idea what's going to happen and what's going on. And then also says that the island is hell and that everybody is dead. Attention all Lost fans, the island is not hell. Even after watching this episode, you might be convinced that they are in hell. They are not in hell. It would be too cheesy to make it in hell. So to get back to the show, Jack sees Hurley talking to nobody and assumes that it's Jacob. He approaches Hurley, finds out that it's not Jacob, and Hurley lets Jack know that it's none of his concern. And we actually find out who it is, but I'm not going to get into that right now. I'll talk about that in a little bit. So back in 1867, where Richard... Wait, 1867? Wow, Richard, you are old. So you look about 30 or 40 here. So you figure you're born in 1830-something, 1820-something. So you're a good 170 to 180 right now. Wow. I hope I can look good at that age, huh? Huh? Anyone? No? So Richard goes to visit his wife, Isabella, who's really, really sick and coughing up blood. Richard says he's going to save her by going to visit to a doctor who's like a half-day journey away or something like that. So Richard's riding on his horse to the doctor. He parks his horse outside the house, and it kind of actually looks like Dharmaville right there. For a second I thought they were on the island, but then afterwards we find out, obviously it's not. Richard goes, he asks for the medicine. The doctor says it's really expensive, and the doctor's a total tool, by the way. Richard, gives him the money. Doctor says this isn't enough, can't cover it. And then, Richard's, grabbing him, please, please help me, I need your help. And he winds up killing the doctor by throwing him against, the back of a table. And, he breaking his neck or cracking his head open to the point where he died. So Richard's riding on his horse really fast back to Isabella. He gets back to his home and finds Isabella laying there dead because she died from whatever sickness she had. And Richard's just in devastation. He doesn't know what to do. And then we see the door open up from behind him, and he winds up getting taken away and put in a jail cell. So Richard's reading his English Bible while he's waiting to be hung tomorrow the next day. And the father comes in, or a priest if you like to call him, and approaches Richard and says, "Would you like to do your confession?" Richard says, "Yes, of course." He says, "Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. I've murdered a man. Can you please forgive me?" And the father says, "No, I can't forgive you. God can't forgive you for killing somebody." And Richard's just looking at him in shock, oh, there has to be something I can do. And, of course he says there's no time because tomorrow you're going to die. So they tie up Richard, they blindfold him, and they bring him down this hallway to make us believe that he's about to get hung. The priest brings him to this white captain-like person. He says, how much do you want for Richard? He buys Richard off of the priest, and then Richard aboards the Black Rock. How long have we been wanting to know how Richard got there? Finally. So they're aboard this ship in this tremendous storm when one of Richard's fellow slave members says, I see an island, and there's a statue of the devil. We're going to the devil's island. And Richard believes that they're actually going to hell right now. Keep that in mind for further reference when we talk about it a little bit later as well. By the way, that statue still being there means in Season 5 when Lost, Locke, and all them were going through time when Charlotte died, that means that they went back all the way from 1867 and before that. So they crash on the island, a few people are still alive, 5 captains are still alive, and Whitfield, the one who bought Richard in the first place, goes down and starts killing all the slaves because he says there's limited supply of food and water, and it's only a matter of time before they kill him. As he's about to kill Richard, we hear the sounds of the smoke monster, and the smoke monster is taking apart everyone. Smoke monster comes down the stairs, examines Richard, it appears, and then goes away, and Richard's all by himself. So Richard's down on the ship for a few days, it seems, without any kind of food or water, and all of a sudden he sees Isabella come and approach him. He doesn't know how she got there or what's going on, but right away I was thinking this is the man in black pretending to be Isabella, because we saw the smoke monster like examine Richard, like I said before, and like take over his thoughts and know what to do to manipulate Richard. So they hear the black smoke monster. Richard demands Isabella to run and get out of there. She says, "No, no, I can't leave you." He says, "Nope, get out of here, get out of here. We have to save your life." She runs up the stairs. She starts screaming and yelling, and then Richard assumes that she gets eaten by this black smoke monster thing. He's devastated. He has no idea what's going on. And then the next day it seems that the man in black approaches Richard and says to him, "I'll set you free if you work for me or you do something for me." And Richard says, "Yes, please, anything." He sets Richard free, releases him from the chains, and then Men in Black gives Richard a mission to go and kill the devil, or Jacob. Okay, real fast. The reason why I think the Man in Black chose Richard to kill Jacob is because when he was examining Richard, he saw that Richard had killing in his past. He saw that Richard had the potential to kill. So he figured he could probably use him to kill Jacob, since Men in Black can't kill Jacob himself. Also, the reason why Richard thinks that they're in hell is because, one, his slave member said, "Oh, there's the statue of the devil," like I said earlier. Also, when Isabella approached him, because the Man in Black can read his mind, and he took the form of Isabella, Isabella told Richard that they're in hell and that they're dead. That's another reason why Richard thinks they're in hell. And then on top of that, he has the Man in Black telling him that he's in hell. I'd be pretty convinced too that it's hell if 3 different people told me it's hell in a place I don't know where I am. That's it for part 1 right now. Go to the description for part 2. Thank you.